The world of Fortnite Battle Royale is completely unique, unlike anything we've ever seen before, but not really. No matter how different the game looks, all of its beautiful locations have been inspired by real-life locations. There's a place in real life that's a spitting image of what's seen in the game, and that's not a coincidence. But before we take a look at all the real-life counterparts to these Fortnite locations, subscribe to CBR and ring that bell to join our notification squad so you never miss any of our Fortnite videos. Without further ado, let's get started. Loot Lake. Loot Lake has remained relatively the same until Season 6. It was always just a lonely house on an island surrounded by a large body of water until Kevin, the purple cube, took a dive into the lake and changed everything. As you all know, Kevin rose from underneath the lake and took the lonely house with him on his journey around the map. This new Loot Lake, showcased by YouTuber The Raffi, looks like something we saw on our vacation to Portugal many moons ago. This beautiful waterfall trapped in a lagoon is known as Covao dos Conchos, and it looks a lot like the center of Loot Lake. If we're being honest, just like in Loot Lake, we have absolutely no idea where the water leads. If you fall into Covao dos Conchos, we have no clue where you'll end up, but we assume it's not going to be a good place. This thing looks like the gateway to some kind of fantasy world, but we really don't want to be sucked into it. That would be a terrible way to end a 2-hour hike. Hopefully some waterproof drone with a flashlight can dive in one day and let us know, because we're really curious. Maybe the Loch Ness Monster has been living in Portugal this whole time, while we were led to believe it was in Scotland. Who knows? Clock Tower. The most famous location in Fortnite is Tilted Tower, so we can't think of a better place to start. As you see in this gameplay by YouTuber The Deadly Cable, there are so many iconic buildings in Tilted that make many people compare it to New York City. Now, New York City is way bigger than Tilted Towers, so we don't see that comparison at all, but there are a few landmarks at the location that remind us of some famous ones we've seen in real life. One of the more obvious ones is the Clock Tower. It doesn't take a genius to realize that it looks a lot like another well-known clock tower found across the pond. No, it's not Big Ben, the quarterback of the NFL's Pittsburgh Steelers. It's Big Ben, the giant clock tower found in London, England. Everyone around the world recognizes this old and iconic clock tower no matter where they go. The funny thing is, Big Ben is a leaning tower with a slight tilt, meaning, you guessed it, it's a real-life tilted tower. Huh? Oh, come on. You guys knew the joke was coming. Sure, the shape and the architecture aren't exactly the same, but having a clock tower in a location called Tilted Towers isn't just a crazy coincidence. It was clearly inspired by everyone's favorite tilted clock tower, Big Ben. Entire map. It's time to look at the bigger picture. This isn't just one location, but rather the entire Fortnite map. You see, if you're a master in geography or maps or whatever, you'll notice that the Fortnite map looks a lot like a certain Eastern European country. It's definitely not Russia, since that's a Eurasian country. We told you we were experts. It's actually Poland. Just look at the Fortnite map and the map of Poland side by side. They look so similar, it's scary. Okay, well, they're not perfect replicas of each other, but they're close enough, and the similarities don't stop there. They also both have a river that runs through them. Huh? The Vistula in Poland and the Don't Get Caught Here or You're Gonna Die river in Fortnite. We're fairly certain that's actually what it's called. To top it all off, even the regions of the Fortnite map are similar to those in Poland. Grasslands in the middle, mountains to the east and west, the main city right next to the river. It's actually shocking how many similarities there are between the two. The thing is, last time we checked, there's no desert in Poland. But with global warming and everything, we'll just say Poland closely resembles the Fortnite map before worlds collided and a meteor strike turned Dusty Depot into Dusty Divot. Dusty Divot. Another location that's gone through a lot of change is Dusty Divot. It all started off as Dusty Depot with 3 boring warehouses that had absolutely terrible loot before it got hit by a meteor and turned into the Dusty Divot we all know today. Before it got all of its vegetation back though, Dusty Divot looked much different. As you can see in this gameplay by YouTuber TMarTNT, there was barely any green grass, but there was a site located at the center of the crater. Later, here, we even see Dusty Diner located just outside the crater, letting us know that it's become a popular tourist destination, although a warehouse is the last place we'd want to dine. That being said, it looks a lot like the Arizona meteor crater. You know, the one that's a national natural landmark. It's found in the northern Arizona desert, and the style is very similar to Dusty Divot. We mean, a crater is a crater, but it looks a lot like it. There's some vegetation outside and inside the crater. The Arizona meteor crater even has a building right next to it that matches the location of Dusty Diner, as well as a road that lines up perfectly with the one that leaves the diner. They actually have an uncanny resemblance to each other. We're kind of freaked out. Wailing Woods. Wailing Woods has to have been one of the most boring locations out there until Season 6 came along and finally made it a point of interest. Absolutely no one landed there, but luckily Epic Games realized this and decided to make a change. As you can see in this gameplay by YouTuber Exotic Motion, we now have cabins all around the woods with a secret bunker hidden underneath what was once the maze. It's pretty much the new supervillain lair, and it's a welcome change that might actually make a player or two land at Wailing Woods moving forward. Redditor Atomic Blue also noticed something really interesting while he was hiking around Scotland. Yeah, that's right, we brought up Scotland once again. It's actually a beautiful country as long as you're fine with constant rain. Anyway, he found a real-life version of Wailing Woods that you can see in this photo. We know it's not the highest quality picture you've ever seen in your life, but we have to admit it does look a lot like Wailing Woods. It's a circle of greenery with nothing in the middle but a few trees. If you're one of the 3 players who ever landed at Wailing Woods, you would know that pretty much perfectly describes the location. We're not so sure it has a secret bunker though. Pleasant Park. When you hear the words Pleasant Park, it'll probably make most people think about a beautiful, huge park full of all different types of flora and fauna, where all pets are allowed and there's gorgeous white swans everywhere. But not for a Fortnite player, oh no. As showcased by YouTuber Grenader Jake, Pleasant Park isn't for the faint of heart. It's an absolute war zone. There's simply no messing around when it comes to this place. While it's pure chaos in the Battle Royale, it was clearly based off a real-life location known as Mount Pleasant Park. Yup, it even has pretty much the same name. Mount Pleasant Park is an area in Vancouver, Canada that looks a lot like the Pleasant Park in Fortnite. The real-life Pleasant Park really lives up to the name, and there may not be swans, but it's a gorgeous little park that thrives in all seasons since it doesn't snow very much in Vancouver. It has a park in the middle with houses all around it. The only real difference is that the Fortnite version has a soccer field, while the real-life version has a basketball court. Hey, Epic Games can't completely copy it, but nonetheless, they got pretty darn close to an exact replica of the real-life location. Cornfields. There are plenty of cornfields in the world, so you're probably not surprised to know that the ones in Fortnite are based off real-life locations. Any corn farm will have a cornfield, that's sound logic, but we're not talking about any run-of-the-mill cornfield, we're talking about corn mazes. You know, the ones that every farmer loves to create on Halloween to scare the crap out of trick-or-treaters. It's a bit of a horror movie trope too, as shown by YouTuber Yode. His squad played hide-and-seek in a cornfield, but not everyone made it out alive. We assume the big bad wolf got them, or Jason Voorhees. While hide-and-seek in a giant cornfield would be a great limited time mode, another LTM we'd love to see would be, you guessed it, corn mazes. Have 1 seeker and 3 hiders. The hiders won't be able to use weapons and will have a goal to achieve as a group, while it's up to the seeker to find them and take them out using whatever weapons they could get their hands on in the maze. It could be a lot like a watered-down Friday the 13th, the game, which would be great since it was such an underrated horror movie. Loot Llamas. These final 2 entries are gonna push the boundaries a little bit. We've mainly been showing how our world has been crossing into Fortnite, but now we're going to look at Fortnite crossing into our world. The motto of Season 5 was Worlds Collide. To help market their already booming game, Epic Games decided to place some Loot Llamas all around the world. If you thought these were going to be just small little llamas, you were mistaken. They're sturdy, pretty big, and made of metal, which we heard is in their top 3 laundry list of favorite materials. YouTuber 7 and one of his friends decided to make a vlog about finding a loot llama in real life, and by the end of the video, they found it. The llama was halfway inside one of those famous red telephone booths that you can find all over London, England. These llamas seem to travel well, as they've also been seen in Barcelona, Spain, Warsaw, Poland, and Cologne, Germany. They seem to have an affinity for Europe, though, and we can't blame them. Berger. Everyone loves Berger from Greasy Grove. The beef boss decided to take up a life of entering battle royales, and his business has never been the same since. While things also changed drastically when Berger got sent to planet Earth before going back to the world of Fortnite. After hearing rumblings around town about Berger being seen in the middle of the desert, YouTuber Nadeshot went with a friend to investigate. He took a 1.5-hour drive from LA to Timbuktu, where he found the infamous Berger. Not only did he find the Berger, but he noticed a police car that looks exactly like the ones in Fortnite and an agent asking for information about this anomaly. We have to admit, this agent was a damn good actress. She had us convinced. Also, who wouldn't love this agent's job? You pretend to be nuts and get paid by Epic Games. Sounds pretty rad. Sadly, the weather didn't cooperate with Nadeshot, so he had to go home early. But still, at least he got to experience something that very few people did. Those were some awesome Fortnite locations in real life. Have you seen any loot llamas where you live? Are there any locations we forgot to include? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more Fortnite videos like this one. Thanks for watching.